Hello, everyone. Welcome to, what is this, episode 3 of
Episode 3.
Positively? It's episode 3 of Positively Board Gaming. I am Mitchell Whitfield, joined, of course, with my co-host, the ever-wonderful, wow, that's a little weird, but not as weird as other things I've said, the ever-wonderful and talented Jamey Stegmeyer. Jamey, how are you?
Good to see you, Mitchell. Yeah, we're recording this at the end of March. This is our last March recording. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? I want to thank everyone, whether you're watching these YouTubes on the Stonemaier Games YouTube channel, or listening on your favorite podcast platform of choice, whether it's iTunes, Pandora, Amazon, whatever. We're getting some fantastic feedback from you guys. Thank you so much. And Jamey, people seem to like this format. And as I told you before, the format of the show where we each bring our own subject we want to talk about, the other person doesn't know. That's all you. That was your baby. You've birthed another beautiful baby.
Well, I got that from the Smart List podcast.
Oh, come on.
They have a guest show up. The two of the guys don't know who the guest is, and they just show up and have fun with them. I kind of like that format. Less prep work for everybody, but we still do think about our topics in advance. We just don't tell each other.
I'm telling you, there's prep work. It's just very stealthy prep work.
Exactly.
That'd be great, like, great name for someone. Hi, my name is Stealthy Prep Work. I do everything quietly and really well. Okay, before we start, sweet treat of the day for you.
I was going to try to ask you before you asked me.
Okay, but, I can go first.
Yeah,
if you
why
want.
don't you go first? Yeah.
All right, sure. I don't want to steal your thunder. I'm going to go old school because as much as we love, beautifully procured treats and the effort that goes into presentation and the ingredients, sometimes a cheap piece of white cake from the supermarket with white frosting really scratches that itch. I can't explain it. Tracy and I will go to the market, and it's just like you go to the bakery section, nothing fancy. It's like yellow or white cake with some white frosting. I don't even think it's buttercream. I don't even know if it's made out of anything natural. It could have a shelf life of 80 years for all I know, but it's so good. And so you take it out of the fridge, you let it get to room temperature, and it is divine. So I'm going old school with a cheap piece of white cake from your basic grocer. What about you?
I'm going with, I have two. One I made from a package. I made chocolate chip cookies last night because I wanted something warm and gooey and delicious. And then today, my chocolate treat, we're recording this in late March. There are those little chocolate eggs for the Easter season. So I have some dark chocolate. I forget the brand that makes them. Cadbury eggs?
Cadbury. Yeah.
The hard ones, not the ones with gooey stuff on the inside.
Oh, those are great. Those are really good. The gooey ones are great. We talked about, I think, on one of the other episodes, the caramello and the Cadbury eggs, which have all the goo inside. They're wonderful, but the cleanup is tragic. It's like you find caramel in places you should never find caramel. In your fingers, face, on my wrist, on my back. How did I get caramel on my back? I don't know. So yeah, I'm for the hard eggs myself. So should we jump in?
Let's jump in. I would love to hear what you are excited about this week in terms of tabletop games and beyond.
Well, we've gotten some really, as I said earlier, we've gotten some really nice comments. People enjoy the format. And people also said they enjoyed how the title of our show, Positively Board Gaming, which of course, has two meanings, how our show sort of builds on that positive view of the hobby, of the industry. And I wanted to talk about that for a minute because positivity in this hobby and in this business, it takes many different forms. So the one form I wanted to particularly say is, and again, I always speak for myself when I talk. I don't like to speak for other people. I like people to speak for themselves, and I encourage people to think for themselves and speak for themselves and all that stuff, right? But I think I feel comfortable in speaking for you as well when I make this broad statement about this podcast and how we approach things. I can tell you right now on this, and get ready, this is a big one we're dropping here right now on Positively Board Gaming episode 3. You will never hear Jamey you'll never hear me say or Jamey say, wow, I want to talk about this really bad board game. I feel confident in saying you will never hear us say that on this show. And the reason I'm confident in saying that is, there are many reasons. First of all, we only have 30 minutes a week together with you, with each other. Forgetting about the statement bad, I'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. We only have so much time together, right? We have 30 minutes, and I treasure this time because it's fun. We get to catch up on the air with people and talk about stuff that we love. If I only have 30 minutes a week, and I've said this on the radio show with Mark as well, I would rather share the things that give me joy. I'd rather share the things that I really love, that I want people to, hey, if this sounds good to you, you've got to try this. And it would be like Jamey, it'd be like me, emailing you or saying out of the blue, hey, I just had the worst meal in the world. I want to tell you all about it. And you'd giggle at first and you're like, really? That's what, we don't talk like every day. That's what you want to use this time
Right.
for? Okay, sure. With one eyebrow up. So with only that much time during the week, I would rather share stuff that I enjoy and stuff that I want to share with people. Number two, how arrogant and egotistical must I be, Jamey? Don't you dare answer that question until I'm done. I know you're going to, I could tell you, to say that my idea of what's good or bad tracks with everyone else in the world when it's something artistic, entertainment and arts kind of joined together in board games, incredibly subjective. How could anyone objectively say whether something is good or bad? They could say it doesn't, ring true with me, or it does. I didn't respond to this, or it wasn't for me. It's probably the worst thing I'll say, because how do I know a game that I might not respond to, Jamey, you may love, and vice versa. So that, like, the hubris that it would take to say this is I quantify this as a bad game, it doesn't make sense. Does that make sense to you too?
Yeah, it when I hear people use that type of language, say
Yes.
something is bad or even something is the best or good, I have a lot more flexibility with that language. But when
Yes.
there's negativity involved, um, it it comes across as if they are the authority for subjective things. And there are what, 7 billion people on the planet. We all have different opinions about these things. And
Exactly.
so, yeah, it does. Even actually, right before we started this live cast, I happened to see a comment on Facebook from someone saying, they said, I won't name the TV show, but they said, this TV show is the best show in this genre on TV right now, and it isn't even close. And I appreciate their
Wow.
positivity. I appreciate their excitement about it. But it comes across as so definitive that I'm like, I don't even know how to participate in that conversation now, because there are a lot of good shows on TV, and I get that you love it, but there's probably another way that you could say that invites conversation a little bit more, rather than coming across immediately and saying, end of conversation, this is the best one. Yeah.
Well,
Nothing
of
more
course,
else to say. Yeah.
no, absolutely. And then, of course, if people don't have the same response, they feel like, oh, is there something wrong with me that I didn't
Yeah.
respond the same way? And then again, I've said this about movies, entertainment in general. So much of our experience, the way we experience life in general, I'll go big picture with this,
Yeah.
is directly tied into expectation. I'm
Mm.
going to see a movie. Jamey calls me, or Jamey emails me, texts me, says, hey, I just saw this amazing movie, blah, blah, blah. I loved it. Megan and I had the best time. You have to go see this. Okay. I'm going in now. Ooh, Jamey likes it. I love Jamey.
Mm.
Jamey's smart. Jamey does great things. He has a great sense of humor. I'm going to go. And I see it and I'm like, and I don't respond the same exact way that Jamey does. I was like, it was good, but I was so hyped up because of Jamey's setup that I was like, oh, okay, it was good. No, I liked it, Jamey. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Same thing. Let's take it to a different second. Same movie, same people involved, me and Jamey. Jamey says, hey, I just saw this movie. Yeah, I was really looking forward to it, and I didn't respond the way I thought I would.
Mhm.
I thought it was going to be something else. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I was ready to be like, and it wasn't what I was expecting. So I was like, oh, okay. I go see the movie. Like, now my expectations are not up here. I see the movie, same person. I'm like, oh, this was fantastic, because my expectations were set very low. So again, expectation comes so much into play with our experience. And again, when people set things up, whether it's a board game or anything, you get the chip. And the last thing I'm going to say about this is, when we're talking about, whether we like something, dislike something, whatever language you want to use. Again, we tend to share the positive stuff here because that's what brings us joy. Now that I've gotten to know some people in this industry, you primarily, Jamey, I know from the outside as much as anyone can know from the outside. The love that goes into what you do, the
Mm.
effort, the energy, the time, the thought, just analyzing the minutia and just wanting everything to be just right. So when someone takes this, they're going to have a wonderful experience. I know the people now. I have faces attached to this business and this industry and this
Mm.
hobby. So I know any game that I play, someone put time into this. It may
Yeah.
not be for me, it may not be for you. Someone put love and attention and detail into this and thought. So for me to come out and say this sucks or this is bad, I would never want to do that, especially on a public forum where people can, and again, everyone has a public forum now with their phone
Yeah.
and social media. So I'm always careful about, how I put things out there, just because I know that's somebody's baby. That's something that someone put energy and effort into. You know what I mean? Am I being
I
too
absolutely.
am I
Oh,
being
yeah.
too wimpy about this? I mean, this is just the way I feel.
No, and I think you're coming from a positive mindset where you want to
Yeah.
share things that you love and things that you're excited about. I come from the same mindset, and I've tried to. Um, I think as I've gotten more involved in the game industry, I'm on my 13th year now in this.
Wow.
I am more aware than ever not just how much love and time and effort that maybe I put into it or that the designer of another game puts into it, but all the other people who are involved. And that's also made me appreciate other industries as well. Like when I decide to write a blog post about a movie or TV show or a book or something like that, especially movies, like so many people go into making movies and TV shows. My show Survivor, right? 400 people are on the Survivor team. 400 people go put their time and effort and love into that show. So I think it's okay to be critical in constructive ways, but I try to keep in mind when I'm being critical of something that there are a lot of other people who tried to make it something special, try to make it a good experience. It doesn't mean I can't be critical. It doesn't mean that reviewers shouldn't be critical about games. I mean, that's their role. But I do appreciate when others are able to remember just how much time and how many people went into trying to make something special. And I don't think anyone goes into a creative project thinking, I want to make something terrible. They're trying to make something good that people will love, and that might make the money in the end too. That might be a motivator.
Of course, I was going to say it's like I can't wait to release this mediocre product. And listen, and listen, I know all businesses are different. I know they're in some businesses, entertainment, my world as well. Some projects need to be done because they're contractually obligated to make this project, regardless of its outcome. Listen, we have a deal with so-and-so. We have a deal with Sony Pictures. We have to put out this last movie. We just want to get it over so we can move on to our new deal with, Fox. And so, that there's some things that, again, have to be done. But again, I'll give this to you, Jed. I don't think I've told you this before. In my quick theory on life in general, all of our life is divided into two different sections. It's two different lists: the have to and the want to list. Our whole lives can be broken down into those two lists. And to me, the biggest goal, especially as we get older, is get as much stuff off of the have to and move it over to the want to. Get this, even getting our obligations done, to pay bills, but get those out of the way so we can take the time that we have, the rest of the time that we have, to do the stuff that brings us joy, to be with the people that bring us joy. So those two lists break down pretty much everything. And I think when you approach something from the want to rather than the have to, it's a very different thing. Even if it's like I said, making a movie, whatever, well, we have to rather than, we want to. The excitement is sort of palpable, So yeah, not that Jamey and I love everything, where, we don't have this Pollyannic view of everything. There are things that we don't respond to, but just the way we approach it, again, we're aware of the world around us, that we are not the last and definitive opinion in the world. I can pretty much say that out loud. And we'd rather spend the time that we have with you guys and with each other talking about things that get us jazzed up or that make us feel good, So yeah, that was my take today on the title of Positively Board Gaming. See how it all ties in, Jamey? Like a nice little bow I put on that. You see that? Very professional. Very professional.
I really like that, Mitchell. I like that you brought this up. I like the have to, need to philosophy, and I think just us talking about it is a good reminder to me about the way that I use language to describe things, because it is sometimes my instinct to say, "Oh wow, this is the best," or "This is awesome." And I think coming in positive about something using that language is a little different than coming in and saying,
"Yes,
this is terrible, this is bad." But just to be, I'm glad that you said that, so I could be more aware of that language.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Be careful how you talk to me. I'm very sensitive. I'm a fragile flower, and you should always know that and approach me with love. Go ahead. All right. So I've babbled on about my one subject, which somehow always turns into 12. Jamey, what have you brought today? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I have, I know this is an audio podcast, but it's also visual. So I have some props to show today, and I'll say what are out loud for those listening on the podcast version. But my topic today is last week. So last week we were going to record an episode of this podcast, but I had a conflict because I had a cousin in town for a hockey tournament, and they advanced in this tournament, and I wanted to go see his game, which happened to be at this exact time. They actually won that game. They didn't win the finals, but they won the final four matchup, the semis.
That's awesome.
And while he was in town competing, my mom came to town for this tournament because her sister is this person. Jason is my nephew. His mom is my Aunt Mary. My mom is her sister. My mom brought my little nephew, Aaron, 6-year-old Aaron. And we got together with some friends who had kids. We went to a cat cafe, and we ended up back at my place to play, just hang out, have lunch, and play some games together. And so the thing that I'm appreciative of today is that there are games that play well at all ages. like for everyone at the table, because the age range of that table spanned from my mom, who is she's a grandma now, to little Erin, who was 6 years,
Right.
little Mabel, who was also here, my friend's daughter, who was 6 years old. And I was sitting around the table just like kind of glowing that we had some games, and we didn't play all the ones that I'll mention today. I brought a few props, like I said, but I love that we have that opportunity. So before I show you my props, is that something that you've found yourself appreciating at the table sometimes when you people have not different experiences but different ages?
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
that's one of the beautiful things about this hobby that you can really it's funny, this is one of the topics I was thinking about for next week, but
Oh yeah.
this is great, we get to talk about it now. Yeah, it's kind of a really cool thing. It's one of the few things, although there are, some animated shows I think that parents and kids can all enjoy at all ages together, like Phineas and Ferb. There's some great shows that I still respond to, but it's one of the few things that you can share on a level playing field, really. Even content wise, it doesn't have to feel watered down like, oh, I'm playing a kid's game. No, I'm just playing a game that's more accessible to every age, so I'm very much aware of that, and it started me thinking about, I've started making a list of games, board game night with different groups, like family group that has different ages, different levels of experience in the hobby. And yeah, I think about this all the time, and because of this, I'm going to start making a new list because
Well,
I really want to have a variety of choices. So yeah.
well, I have a few games to start off your list with. I'll go
Okay.
through these real briefly and explain why I mentioned them. So the one that we actually had at the table was this game called Caution Signs.
Oh, I've
It's
heard of
a
it.
it, it's meant to be a competitive game. We play cooperatively, where you have 20 seconds to draw a pairing of two words. Like on the cover here, it says flexible cow. You have 20 seconds to draw a flexible cow, and then you mix up all these word cards, and someone else has to figure out which words go with which picture.
Oh,
This
wow.
is
Okay.
friendly for little kids, even though they may not be able to read. They can a parent or someone else can read the words out loud for them, and
Right.
they can look at the pictures and see which one is the friendly cow. That one goes down to lower
Love
pair
that.
counts. I brought a cooperative and dexterity game, Nekojima,
Oh,
which
it's a pretty
is
box.
the Isle of Cats. Yeah, this is a really pretty dexterity game. And so I think
Ooh.
kids like playing with toys, and I guess I'm thinking more of the kids here, but I am also thinking of my mom, who has played some pretty complex games, but it is maybe a little bit harder for her to learn some games. She's good after you play games multiple times with her. So a cooperative game is really nice for someone, because you can kind of teach them as you play and you're working together with them. Um, and I'll show one more. This is a little two-player game called Boop. Have you heard of
Okay.
Boop? This is
Yeah.
a fun one. It's a it's a nice little kind of a puzzly game with cats on a bed that are trying to push each other off the bed. And this one is like, chess you can play at all ages, but I love the cuteness of Boop. It's a little bit like chess, but with little cats that you're pushing around. So
Oh, that is
it
adorable.
the theme span is kind of ageless. It can work for anybody. The rule set is very simple. So anyway, Caution Signs, Boop, and Nekojima, games that I appreciate for this style of all age gaming.
Yeah, now I have to sort of add some more things to I'm looking in here because as you know, I have, like, different areas of the house that
Mhm.
have games. I have, like, my Stonemeyer section and different stuff going on here. I'm trying to think. There is one that I was thinking about that, I believe it or not, I have not gotten to the table yet, because we've made friends, not made friends. We've reconnected with our friends, and in a family way where we all get together, and I mean, the age groups are not, and by the way, I love that I saw in your head as I was watching you, the moment you decided not to give your mom's age, which I thought was very wonderful to see. I saw the wheels going. You were about to say it, and then thought, wow, in my head, maybe she wouldn't want me to do that. How can I do this? I'll just go with the grandma card and you'll get an idea. So that was beautiful. I saw it all going in your head, and you handled that brilliantly. Um, so I think about different games that I want to bring to this group with their two families together. And Mysterium
Mm.
Park.
Yeah.
Is that Mysterium Park? That's the smaller one, but still, I think it plays up to 6 or 8, maybe?
I think that one plays up to 6. I think the original Mysterium might go up to 8. But yeah.
Okay, and that was, as I said, that was how my new list was starting, and I look around, and I think there are certain games that sort of lend themselves towards larger groups, and even, like, different age groups, and I think, roll and rights,
Mhm.
of course,
Right.
are you familiar with roll and rights? You might have put one out, I'm not sure. So yeah, and yeah, I'm putting together this list, and now that those are gonna go on the list. I've never been a real party game person. I
Mhm.
don't know why. I was when I was younger, and I see these games, and I see you especially have some great small box party games that look amazing and that you've talked about. And I really have to start getting into it. But I don't know what it is. I guess because I've liked the slightly deeper experience now that I've, like, gotten back into the hobby. And a lot of the cooperative stuff that we do is like, dungeon crawly kind of stuff. But I really have to get back into party games because from what I've seen on your list, there are so many of them. There are so many good ones.
Yeah, I am loving that category of games, and I think it works really well for this ageless category. Caution Signs is the one I mentioned here, and I found that I really like them. These types of games that don't have a performative aspect to it. The spotlight isn't on any individual person at any given
Right.
time. You are just
Right.
You're solving a puzzle in different ways as you play. Yeah.
It's funny. This is just going to come up out. It's going to seem like it's out of the blue, but it's related. We both back games throughout the year on different crowdfunding platforms. And there's a certain excitement that goes along with when those games arrive. And I'm getting more and more excited about the games at higher player counts because I'm thinking more about game nights and families getting back to getting together, merging together to play. And unfortunately, like the last few games that have come in, they haven't been that. They've been some of my bigger box, like, heavy experience with 3 friends that really are into this, which is fine.
Yeah.
I found though that, and again, I had to explain to Tracy, I back games and I buy a lot of games. I love them. I love the games to play. And I also love the creation of them, the art, so beautiful. Jamey, I've had so many games come in the last last 5 or 6 days, like box after box of giant. And this is stuff that I backed like 2 years ago. So it's just wildly coincidental that everything happens to come within like a week period. I'm getting to the point where I look like a madman to my wife. Like, you have to understand, Tracy, it's not me. I didn't just buy these this week. This is
Right.
2 years ago. And I found myself doing that, defend yourself dance. I'm tapping on the floor right now. Like, no, hon, it's not really my fault. The shipping worldwide. But how this convergence of we're going to deliver everything you've ever ordered in 1 week. So now I have this entire pile that I feel the need to, of course, not just justify, but how do I put it all away? Because I have to go, I love my unboxings, very therapeutic for me. So yeah, that's been my experience this week. I'm still looking for, again, the games that I keep on looking around my shelves for stuff that I really want to. Oh God, there are so many. The new Parks is coming out. After that, I love Parks. Jamey, I'm out of control. I'm a strong enough and confident enough human to say that I'm totally out of control. It's funny.
Can I give you a little insider knowledge of why you got all those games all at once?
Yes, tell me. Of course, I love insider knowledge.
I'm guessing it's due to the Chinese New Year, because production typically for the Chinese New Year, either companies try to get a lot shipped out right before the Chinese New Year, and now it has arrived and gotten processed by fulfillment centers, or this may have been stuff that was shipped right after the Chinese New Year.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So
I think you're right. Yeah. And you're right. You're right. I didn't even think about that. That's true.
Yeah.
Because once production starts again, they do their best to get everything that was delayed for the month period. They do their best to get that out onto the ships and then, start, getting the new games done. So yeah. Funny you brought up hockey, Jamey. First of all, I love that Jamey has gotten into hockey a little bit more because were you ever really a hockey person?
I've attended one professional game in my entire life, and
okay. So,
but you love the Rangers, right?
It's been a tough year. I was gonna thank you for showing my team love throughout the year, but clearly the love that both of us have been showing has not been enough to go from the best team in hockey to that's I can't even say anything else because again, this is positively board gaming. So instead of saying they're not having a great year, I'll just say So as I told Jamey off the air, we are going to our second game. The Rangers are in town. We just saw them play against the Kings. That didn't end well for us. We're going to Anaheim tonight. And then my son is driving with his girlfriend to Northern California to see the Sharks and the Rangers for like his third game in 5 days. So it's a Whitfield love fest. So I have to go. I have to go now because I have to go gather the jerseys. Everyone has to wear a Rangers jersey. They don't have to. They want to. Let's go with that. I have a bunch of jerseys. So everyone's going to wear it. So we're going to end here. Again, first of all, Jamey, thank you. I'm so happy that you agreed to do this because I'm having a blast. I'm very grateful that the people that are watching and listening seem to be enjoying it as well, both the format and the stuff that we talk about in general. Again, if you're watching this on the Stonemaier Games YouTube channel, please feel free to leave Jamey a comment, what you like. If there's a subject that you'd like us to bring to the table, that would be a great way to do it. Or you can go to positivelyboardgaming.com. You can leave us a message there. In addition, you can also see all of our released episodes. I think we're going to be releasing them pretty much on a Thursday schedule, I think, for now, but we're not, that's not, that's not set in stone. We'll let you know. But yeah, so catch us either on the website or on Stonemaier Games YouTube channel. So Jamey, thank you for a fantastic week. And should we do this again? You want to try another episode? Should we go for 4? Are we crazy?
Let's go for 4 in a row. Let's do
go
it.
for 4 in a row. All right, man. I'll see you next week.
Take care, Mitchell.